Hey, I want to tell you about a new mini course that I have. It's called the 5 Minute Shift. One of the most frequent questions that I get from people on social media and clients is, how do I stop feeling anxious? How do I stop feeling upset? How do I stop feeling angry at my spouse? How do I stop feeling a certain way and get to something that feels better? This mini course is to answer that question. It's a 30-minute video. You get a cheat sheet and the slides, plus a Q&A and a why this works video. But really all you need is the 30-minute video, the how-to. It's a process I use every single day, multiple times a day. I have clients who use it and have experienced huge changes in their life. And if you practice this method over and over again, I promise you'll be able to shift any emotion in around 90 seconds to about 5 minutes. So if you're somebody who feels like you get stuck in emotions, you stew in emotions, you spiral in them, and you really wish that you could get out of them and it didn't involve scrolling or eating or shopping or any of that, this is for you. It's $29. There's a link in the show notes, and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome back to Calmer Conversations, the podcast where you learn how to help your brain become a calmer place to be so that it's easier to feel exactly how you want to feel in your daily life. Whether that's feeling calm and confident, content, or even joyful, or just like you've done enough of the right things at the end of the day, or all of the above. I'm Cecilia Mandrick. I'm a certified life coach, yoga therapist, and founder of the Calm Brain Academy. If you're ready to shift the patterns of self-sabotage, procrastination, daily overwhelm, people-pleasing, and perfectionism, you're in the right place. Not only is it possible to change the conversation between your brain and your body, when you do, you'll change your life in the process. And you're one step closer just by joining me today. Ready? Let's dive in. Hey, and welcome to Calmer Conversations. I'm Cecilia, your host. Today we're going to talk all about morning routines. And before you get your hopes up, I'm not going to tell you exactly what morning routine to have, but I am going to talk about my morning routines that I have had and do have right now, and perhaps how a morning routine can start to work for you. Okay, so first, just a comment about morning routines. Morning routines, almost more than anything else, get this sort of magical fairy dust belief stuck into them. Like, if we do the perfect things in the perfect order, then all problems will be solved in our life. And that your morning routine is honestly going to save you, and that you need to do everything the exact perfect way. And if you don't, then your life will be ruined and you're destined to die early. But if you do, then you're going to reach enlightenment. Something like that, right? And I'm being a little bit sarcastic, and I'm kind of going to the extremes, but it's also to illustrate how much faith we often put into morning routines. I want to say that I have had many morning routines since starting to do this work. And I also once believed that I needed a perfect morning routine, that if I had a perfect one, that it would save me. And I remember writing out, I don't know how many variations of the perfect morning routine on Sunday, that I was magically going to start on Monday, and then I would be fixed. I would be a perfect person after that. Everything would be good in my life. And it would be like done and dusted. Everything else would take care of itself. I will also say that I have had very intense morning routines over the course of this time, but that you don't have to have an intense morning routine. And in fact, if you're not a morning person, your morning routine does not have to look like waking up at 4 a.m. Okay, so first, if you want to do this work along with me, you might pause. Well, in just a second, I want you to pause and kind of think through something or write it out, whatever works for you. I want you to get clear on your own thoughts around a morning routine, like the beliefs you have around it, which might be something like I just said, right? Like, if I have the perfect morning routine, then I'll be a healthier person, or I'll be a better person, or everything else will fall into place. After you've done that, I want you to look at what your current morning routine is and just get clear on it, because whether you admit it or not, you have a morning routine. Right now, your morning routine might include hitting snooze 3 times, rolling out of bed, grabbing a cup of coffee, and like rushing to work, feeling behind. It might mean rolling over, waking up, and telling yourself, I have so much to do today. It might be waking up and meditating, right? It might be something else. So getting clear on what your current morning routine is, and then what you think your morning routine needs to be to kind of quote unquote fix you, right? What you think you're supposed to do. And the reason why I wanted you to get these all out of your head is because this work is so much So much of it is about bringing the unconscious or subconscious into the forefront. So understanding your own thoughts about a morning routine. And then let's just bust the myth. So do that work, right? You're like, really, if you want to make changes in your life, you need to engage with this, right? So actually answer those questions for yourself. And know that there isn't a perfect morning routine. And how we know that there isn't a perfect morning routine is if you look across time and across people, there is no one morning routine that all successful or rich or famous or beautiful people do, right? There's not like, they don't all exactly do the same thing. And that's really important because while a morning routine can be powerful and transformative in your life, it's not that you need to have one set of activities or there is one set of activities that you need to do. In fact, I'd say the purpose of a morning routine is to help set you up for success within your day, and that can look different at different parts of your life. So to illustrate this, I'm going to tell you what my most intense morning routine looked like. At this point, I was in grad school, getting a master's in counseling. I had been doing yoga for a number of years, quite seriously. I had a meditation practice. It was quite serious. I had a part-time job at the Office of Voter Registration, which I could walk to and started at 11 a.m. So I had time in the morning to kind of do what I wanted to do. And so this, if you had any doubts about Cecilia and her craziness, this is going to confirm it for you. Okay, so this morning routine looked like me waking up at 4 a.m. And I woke up at 4 a.m. not because I felt like I had to, but because I really loved it. 4 a.m. is kind of a special time in the day. I felt like I was most connected to myself and like the universe or God at that period in the day. And so I woke up at 4 a.m. So after I woke up, I would take a shower and have some warm lemon water, right? Those are like check boxes in the morning routine. Then I did somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours of yoga. So that brings us somewhere to around 6:15 to 6:30 in the morning, right? So that's what I did. Then I would meditate for about 20 to 30 minutes. So with the transitions in there, we're probably around 7 to 7:15. Then I would do loving kindness meditation. So the first kind of meditation that I did was transcendental meditation, which is how I was originally taught meditation. So I did transcendental meditation, which is usually advised to do about 20 minutes twice a day. So I would do that for 20 to 30 minutes. I'd never set a timer, but that's usually kind of where it ended up. Then I would do loving kindness meditation, which is like meta meditation, reciting phrases like, may I be filled with loving kindness, may I be free from danger, may I be happy, may I be peaceful and at ease. You get to pick them out, but there's something kind of around those that you repeat to yourself. And so that kind of rounded out my sitting. Oh no, that's not true. I'm sorry. We need to back up because I totally forgot to add in there that I would do 20 minutes of breath work. So I do an hour and a half to 2 hours of yoga. I would do about 20 minutes of coherent breathing. Then I would meditate. Then I would do more meditation. And at this point, we're like around 8:30, right? And remember, I need to be at work at 11. So I've already spent 4 hours in the morning on my morning routine. Then I would often do some journaling or some reflection. Sometimes that meant talking out loud to myself. And then at that point, I would often give myself an oil massage, have another shower. Usually my showers are like rinse offs rather than like big soapy affairs. But anyway, do a little bit of abhyanga if you're familiar with that term. Take a shower, and then I would make myself breakfast. And that could be however long it was. You could tell that I was also single and had no children at this point, right? And so I would often wrap up my morning with a walk and then walking to work, meaning that I didn't struggle to get to work by 11 a.m., but it wasn't like I had a lot of extra time in the morning. So that was my morning routine, guys. I just want you to like reflect on that. And I want to compare that with the morning routine I have right now. So right now I have 3 kids. One of them is 4 months old. You can kind of see her head if you're watching this on YouTube. I co-sleep or bed share, which means that we all sleep in 2 twin mattresses together. So that means that I sleep with a 4-month-old, a 2.5-year-old, and a 5-year-old, and a husband, and not a dog right now, thankfully. So that's what it looks like. And my baby likes to sleep with me. That means that if I get up or leave the bed, she generally wakes up. So what my morning routine looks like now is waking up at about 6:30. And that's because that's when my 2.5-year-old gets up. That's when we're often getting out of bed to kind of make the school routine in the morning work. I then snuggle with the 2.5-year-old and the baby for a little while. Then I wake up the 5-year-old because she can sleep through anything. So I wake up the 5-year-old. So you can already see how this looks so much different, right? I then engage the 5-year-old in a getting ready challenge where we both get to do it at the same time. So she gets out of bed and gets her clothes on for the day. I get out of bed and take a shower. So I sometimes will use oil before I shower, usually to scrape my tongue. I didn't include that before, but that's always been kind of something that I've done. And I will shower, and I'll shower kind of quickly. And then I get some time to do some yoga, to do some movement. And that can be somewhere between 3 minutes and 15 minutes right now. And I know that this will change as the baby gets older, but right now that's where I am in our morning routine. So I have 3 to 15 minutes of yoga, not 90 to 120 minutes of yoga. And yet the yoga feels just as impactful for me. And I forgot to mention that oftentimes I'll wake up before everybody and kind of meditate in bed. I'm not like sitting on a cushion. I'm not getting out of bed. But because I'm awake, I'll spend some time reciting, doing the transcendental meditation or loving kindness for some period of time. And sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's 40 minutes. So it kind of depends on when I wake up. But very often I'm awake at kind of like 5:45 or 6. So I have some time before other people get up. If I don't have that time in the morning, I will meditate after everyone else goes to school. But I do that. And then, so we've taken the shower, we've done a little bit of yoga, I get dressed, I go upstairs, I have usually warm nettle tea or warm lemon water because I love them and I think they taste really good early in the morning. Right now I'm on a nettle tea kick. I make it the night before usually and then add hot water so that it's warmer. And then I see everyone off to school. And then I will go on a little walk, usually about 10 minutes. During the 10 minutes, I'll kind of like collect myself with how I want the day to go, what kind of mind space I want to be in. And then I'll come back and then I help the baby get to her first nap. And then I will meditate if I haven't meditated before. And then I'll do some journaling. So my morning routine, those are the two extremes, right? Right now I'm doing kind of what I would say is my bare minimum amount of yoga each day. And the meditation practice feels pretty good. But I'm not doing a lot of other things. Oftentimes I'll find time to do a breathing practice later in the day. But my morning routine is a far cry from what it used to be. And yet this morning routine supports me just as much, if not more, as that other morning routine. And that means that at different phases of your life and different times, different morning routines will work for you. So you wrote down what you think morning routines are going to give you, how maybe even writing down how you want to feel after your morning routine, which for me, it's connected with my body. It's connected with an energy and intention for the day. And it's the capacity to be present for my day. And it sets me up for that. And I know that I can do many different things to get me there. So now you know how you want to feel maybe at the end of your morning routine. And now you can ask yourself at this phase of my life, and knowing what my current morning routine is, what is one change I might make that will help get me to where I want to go? What is one belief that I can let go of or create that will help me make this change? And how am I going to support myself in doing this? Who will I become if I do snooze only 2 times instead of 3? Or if I don't snooze at all and instead I wake up and get out of bed to go for a walk or to have my cup of coffee, right? Even without the snoozes. So asking yourself those things and knowing that it's not the actual actions that you do in your morning routine, it's the intention that you're using, it's the spirit that you're creating within them, it's the beliefs you have around it, right? I have this belief that this morning routine supports me and gives me everything that I need. Okay. If you have a morning routine, come over to social media, tell me about what it is, how it supports you, how maybe it's changed, because now you have my 2 extremes of my morning routines and how they've looked in my life. And I will say that this current morning routine is sort of where I've been at about 4 months postpartum with my other kids as well. So I know that this will shift and change and I will have more time again in the future. And at some point down the line, maybe I will have my like glorious 4 to 5 hour morning routine again. But right now it's about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on what I'm doing. And if you include the meditation, maybe it's closer to an hour. But know that I've shifted and changed and made it work for me. And not because I think they're these rules, but because I've picked out the things that help me connect with myself and feel most like me, so that I can have the day that I want to have. All right. Your morning routine is supposed to support you. It's not supposed to feel like a prison. It's not something that's going to save you, but it is something that you can use to help you have the day that you want to have. Okay. Go forth, create a morning routine that supports you. Let me know what it is, and I will see you next time. Bye. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Calmer Conversations. Take what you learned today and use it in your life. Even if it feels a little awkward or clumsy at first, remember these are practices and that real change comes from implementation. Then send me a message over on Instagram or TikTok and let me know what worked or didn't work. If you want to dig deeper into something from today's episode, all of the resources can be found at the link below in the show notes. If you like this episode, there's a great chance that you'll love working with me. Join my monthly coaching community by visiting me on Instagram or my website, www.ceciliabmandrick.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts, and I'll see you back here next Thursday.